Yes, Shadur Sanders was a 5th-round pick, but he ain't never been a 5th-round talent. That's why in his mind, he is saying, I can change a franchise if you give me the opportunity to. Right now, Cleveland is not doing that. I looked at the snap count chart. We'll throw that up for you guys on the screen. And people were saying, oh, he was playing with the same guys that Dillon Gabriel was.
Breaking news just hit, and Robert Griffin III didn't hold back one bit. He dropped a truth bomb so wild it makes reality TV look tame. He said Shadur Sanders doesn't just want that Brown starting job, he needs it like a phone needs Wi-Fi or a burger needs fries. The way RG3 told it, you'd think the entire future of Cleveland is balanced on Shedur's spotless sneakers. This isn't your regular football take, it's a straight-up soap opera in shoulder pads. Now listen, the Cleveland Browns have done it again, but this time, it's not about their factory of sadness curse or another quarterback heartbreak. Nope, this drama is fresher, louder, and hotter than a Cleveland bonfire in December. Robert Griffin III just spilled the kind of tea that burns on impact, and fans can't stop sipping it. RG3 went all in, saying the real truth about Shadur Sanders. And when Griffin steps into the conversation, you know something explosive is brewing.
Like RG3 just made a bold prediction about the Cleveland Browns next 6 games and pretty much saying, bro, they have to play Shadur. That is the Cleveland Browns schedule. Now, I've been preaching about this next game going up against the Baltimore Ravens being a tough game. Well, I'm here to tell you they got about 6 or 7 tough games coming up against all playoff teams. Now, with that being said, let's say they start off 0-6 or 0-2 or 0-3. When do Kevin Stefanski make the call to either put Dillon?
We're not talking about friendly competition anymore. This is shaping up to be a full-blown quarterback showdown that makes Hard Knocks look like a calm family dinner. Coach Kevin Stefanski's got a mess on his hands, and the question is pure chaos. If Dillon Gabriel is your number 2 quarterback, do you risk leapfrogging Shadur into the backup spot? Or do you keep old school Joe Flacco hanging around like a dusty trophy from 2012? Every choice is a gamble, and the fan base is ready to riot no matter what he does. It's like choosing between burnt toast, soggy cereal, or that shiny new air fryer everyone swears will change your life.
How many sacks did Shadur have in the game?
More than 5.
No, he had 5.
Yeah, 5.
He had 5 sacks in the game, playing behind the 3, 4, and 5 offensive line. 2 of those sacks, he held the ball too long. The other ones, he never had a chance. Wide receivers, did he play with the same wide receivers that Dillon Gabriel did?
No.
No, he didn't. When Shadur Sanders was put out there with the proper talent around him, he excelled. 2 touchdowns. Shined on the big stage. I know it was a preseason, but it was the most watched preseason game in over a decade.
On one side, you've got Dillon Gabriel, the guy drafted higher and labeled the future. On the other, there's Shadur Sanders, the wild card, the lightning bolt, the headline magnet who might just be the spark Cleveland didn't know it needed. One thing's for sure, the Browns aren't just fighting for a quarterback spot. They're fighting for control of the entire storyline. On the flip side, you've got Shedeur Sanders, Cleveland's shiny wild card. He's that kind of player who could light up a locker room faster than a double-shot espresso and a hype playlist combined.
Play Shadur at that point because y'all kept him as QB3. Now, we finna find out real soon how truthful they is with keeping Shadur Sanders at QB3. Now, RG3, like I stated, had said some things and pretty much made this prediction. He made this prediction about the Cleveland Browns next couple games in a recent podcast episode.
Then there's Joe Flacco, the veteran relic who's basically the human version of that old couch sitting in your basement, technically still working, but everyone's too sentimental or too scared to finally throw it out. Enter Tony Rizzo, storming into the debate like a man defending his favorite pizza joint in a New York street argument. He came swinging with pure conviction, saying the Browns shouldn't rush Shadur.
Cleveland Browns, okay? When you look at the Cleveland Browns schedule.
Let's take a look at their schedule, bro. Let's take a look at their damn schedule. They got the Ravens. The Packers is pretty much, they talking about the Packers can win the Super Bowl this year. They got the Lions. We know how the Lions looking, nasty. Then they got the Vikings. They maybe could get that one, but I don't know. Then you got Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers look like he might be Aaron Rodgers back from Green Bay. Then you got the Dolphins. They gonna get the Dolphins. Then you got Green Bay. Then you finally get a bye week. But these next 6 or 7 games here, bruh, these next 6 or 7 games is tough. Well, these are tough.
In Rizzo's world, Sanders isn't a quick fix. He's a long-term investment, a quarterback you nurture slowly, like a rare bottle of wine you only open when company's watching. Meanwhile, he paints Dillon Gabriel as Mr. Reliable, the guy who sits quietly behind the starter for 5 straight seasons, steady, calm, and loyal like an emotional support pet. The way Rizzo tells it, you'd think he's describing food prep instead of football, preserving Shedeur like leftovers in a Tupperware labeled "Do Not Touch Yet." But here's where the real comedy hits. Rizzo claims the locker room itself might not be fully sold on Shedeur. Some veterans allegedly don't think he can win. Let that sink in. The Cleveland Browns, the team that's turned more quarterbacks into memes than highlight reels, are suddenly questioning someone else's confidence. That's like a clown convention saying, "He's too silly to join our act." And just when it couldn't get any funnier, RG3 bursts into the chat like a hype man at a block party. He's not preaching patience, he's preaching action.
Give me pushback if I'm wrong. Why the fuck are you starting Dillon Gabriel over Shadur Sanders? Stop what you doing. The NFL, what are you doing? Browns, what are you doing? Shadur is lights out compared to this nigga Dillon Gabriel. What the fuck? Stop trying to do my man wrong, Shadur.
He says forget the waiting, forget the draft politics, and forget babying Dillon Gabriel's draft spot like it's family jewelry. RG3 is hoisting the Shadur Sanders flag like it's flying over a championship parade. To him, Shedeur isn't just another quarterback. He's the spark, the belief, the jolt of energy that could actually wake this zombie team up. Because right now, the Browns are walking onto the field with the enthusiasm of people serving out community service hours. And RG3 is begging them to let Shedeur flip the switch. Let's be real, RG3 isn't wrong. Watching the Browns right now feels like listening to a sad trombone soundtrack on repeat. You can see the defeat on their faces. Heads down, shoulders sagging, energy so drained it's like the stadium lights are dimmed on purpose. This team doesn't need another clipboard holder, they need a spark, a heartbeat, something alive. And that's where Shedeur Sanders steps in. Shedeur doesn't just throw passes, he sells belief. Every snap feels electric, every huddle looks alive again. When teammates look at him, they don't see another placeholder in Cleveland's cursed quarterback carousel, they see someone who could actually break the cycle.
Browns move to start Dillon Gabriel this week over Joe Flacco. This is not a shock to me in its entirety, and I'll tell you why. Before the season started, I predicted this would happen. I said that the Flacco enterprise would go 0-4, they went 1-3, and then starting in week 5, Shadur Sanders would come in against the Vikings. Now, I say I'm not entirely shocked because I'm going to give myself half credit. I called half of this correct. Where I went wrong was assuming that Shadur Sanders was going to be QB2. This was before we knew about his status.
For once, there's hope that this franchise might not eat itself alive before the season ends. You've even got David Njoku, one of the loudest voices in that locker room, vibing with Shedeur on the sidelines like they're already scripting highlight reels for next week. That's not stats, that's energy. That's the kind of chemistry you can't fake or coach into existence. It's confidence, pure and contagious. But of course, it's still Cleveland. And Cleveland never takes the easy route. Instead of embracing the obvious choice, they're tangled up in politics, draft status, front office pride, and that classic Cleveland hesitation to admit when they got it wrong. Heaven forbid they say out loud that the guy drafted later might just be the better quarterback. This is ego versus logic, like refusing to eat a perfectly cooked steak because you already bragged about the chicken wings. The front office would rather look stubborn than smart, and it's showing every Sunday. So what's the master plan here? Easy. Pretend the problem doesn't exist. Because in Cleveland, the only thing stronger than losing streaks is the refusal to swallow pride. Are they really worried about Dillon Gabriel's feelings getting bruised if Shedeur leapfrogs him?
You telling me that Shadur Sanders, if he's starting quarterback for the Browns when they played the Green Bay Packers, he couldn't do what Joe Flacco did? He couldn't do what Joe Flacco did? Hand the ball off, punt the ball, get a team a pick, don't make no great plays?
But here's my question.
Because you said something though, right? And when you talk, I listen. So now I'm gonna ask you a question.
Yep.
Are you telling me when you watch Joe Flacco and the Cleveland Browns offense play, you tell me Shedeur couldn't do that against the Green Bay Packers? Because I'm here to tell you that the third string, the kicker could have did the same thing.
No, stop. Stop.
Come on, this is the NFL, not kindergarten snack time. If your backup quarterback's biggest concern is emotional fragility over the depth chart, then he's not your franchise savior. He's just another placeholder in a city that's tired of pretending second place is progress. And while we're at it, can we please talk about Joe Flacco? The man's name still floats around like he's one miracle throw away from rewinding time to 2012. Spoiler alert, he's not. That Super Bowl MVP magic is gone, and what's left is more nostalgia than quarterback. Keeping Flacco ahead of Shadur Sanders is like showing off your old flip phone while pretending you don't have an iPhone in your pocket. It's outdated, it's stubborn, and it makes zero sense. Here's the real bottom line. The Browns need Shedeur Sanders. Not next year.
Nobody in the draft rated Dillon Gabriel higher than Shadur Sanders. He spoke a lot of truth in what he said, basically exposing the Cleveland Browns and Kevin Stefanski, Jimmy Haslam, and Andrew Berry. Now, we all know the situation that's going on in Cleveland. Everybody wants to see Shadur Sanders get his chance to get on the football field. And Kevin Stefanski is standing on his principles and his morals that he is not moving away from Joe Flacco.
Not after Gabriel gets some reps, not when Flacco finally sails off to a beachside retirement. They need him now. Because this team isn't just short on skill, it's starving for a heartbeat, a pulse, some damn energy. And like it or not, Shedeur is the only one bringing that fire. Across the league, the teams with swagger are the ones winning. The ones with lifeless quarterbacks, they crumble before halftime. You think the 49ers rally behind Brock Purdy because of his draft slot? No way. They rally because the guy makes them believe. And belief, real, raw, unshakable belief, is what Cleveland's been missing for years. Right now, the Browns are trapped in belief purgatory, stuck between a washed-up veteran and a rookie who hasn't convinced anyone he's got the juice. They're waiting for someone to drag them out of the mud, and let's be honest, that someone isn't Dillon Gabriel. It's definitely not Joe Flacco. That someone is Shadur Sanders. Forget this so-called quarterback competition. Once Shedeur steps in, it's game over. Gabriel can get comfortable holding that clipboard, and Flacco, he can start practicing his autograph for those retirement conventions. Because the Sanders era is knocking, and Cleveland better answer fast. The fans know it, the locker room knows it, the coaches definitely know it. And deep down, somewhere between denial and desperation, the owner knows it too. Everyone in Cleveland can feel it, but no one wants to say it out loud. The guy they drafted later is better than the one they hyped up first. It's pride, plain and simple. And pride is the one thing this franchise has never been able to afford.
Dion, I love his son. His son should have been the first overall pick. Again, I'll say it. But I don't see how Shedeur's going to get any shot in Cleveland this year unless it's something like you experienced where everybody gets hurt. And I'm knocking on wood for everybody because I don't want to see anybody get hurt. I'm going to assume that Dion taped the new Hype podcast at the end of last week. It was dropped on Monday, but it had to be taped ahead of Cleveland shocking the Green Bay Packers. So I assume he was talking about.
But here's the harsh truth. The NFL doesn't care about feelings or draft politics. It only cares about winning. And Cleveland, let's just say they haven't exactly been swimming in wins lately. The question isn't if Shadur Sanders should start. It's how many games they're willing to throw away before they finally let him. Will they really let Dillon Gabriel stumble through a month of mediocrity just to save face? Or will they finally rip the Band-Aid off and give the team what it's begging for? Because make no mistake, the players can feel the energy shift when Shedeur's name even gets mentioned. The fans are restless, the commentators are circling, and every delay just makes the coaching staff look scared of their own decision. If Cleveland's history tells us anything, though, they'll drag it out. They'll watch Gabriel struggle, lose winnable games, and then pretend to be shocked when the pressure forces their hand. Then, when they finally unleash Shedeur, they'll act like geniuses, as if they just discovered fire instead of ignoring the obvious all along. And when that moment hits, the entire narrative will flip overnight. The locker room will feel alive again. The crowd will wake up and roar like the curse has been lifted. And Cleveland, oh, Cleveland will rewrite history, claiming they always believed in Shedeur Sanders. Because this isn't just about a quarterback anymore, it's about belief. Shedeur's got teammates backing him before he's even taken the field. Combine that with a franchise desperate for a savior, and you don't just get a quarterback, you get a full-blown movement. So let's be real, Robert Griffin III didn't just speak his mind, he exposed the truth. Shedeur Sanders isn't the future of the Browns, he's the present, he's the spark, the heartbeat, the one who can turn that locker room from a funeral march into a full-blown fight song. And every single game Cleveland hesitates to unleash him is another painful reminder of why this team has been cursed for so long. But hey, maybe, just maybe, this time Cleveland finally gets it right. Or maybe they'll do what Cleveland always does, drag their feet, stall for weeks, and let Dillon Gabriel turn into yet another forgettable chapter in the Browns' never-ending quarterback horror novel. Either way, the ending's already written. Because sooner or later, Shadur Sanders is stepping in. And when he does, it won't just be a new starter, it'll be a whole new Browns. And the funniest part, everybody already knows it. The wild thing about all of this is how the Browns are acting like they actually have the luxury of time, like they can afford to play the long game. This isn't Kansas City. Patrick Mahomes had Alex Smith to sit behind for a season while everyone chilled and planned. This is Cleveland.
Oh, do you like the way Shedeur handled this press conference?
Absolutely. Absolutely, because whatever he says, they're going to twist his words. If you say nothing, there's really, on any other team, there are 31 there are 31 other teams. Do any of those media members talk to the third string quarterback?
No.
Oh, it's controversy. Why create controversy? How do you not create it? By when they ask you questions, just don't answer. You just don't answer. If anything, they should be talking to Joe Flacco. Why are you talking to Shedeur? I mean, it makes no sense, and I like the way he handled it because anything he does say, they're going to make it a big deal. They're going to twist his words. They're going to take it completely out of context.
The land where quarterbacks don't develop, they disappear. And right now, Shedeur Sanders is sitting there like a wrapped Christmas present that everyone's too scared to open because the tag says drafted later. It's pure comedy at this point. The Browns' decision-making should be studied in psychology textbooks. Why do humans make life harder for themselves? The Cleveland Browns case study. They've mastered turning progress into paralysis. It's pride over performance, ego over execution, and the entire city's patience is hanging by a thread. And let's not skip over the most important part, the locker room. Confidence is everything in football. A quarterback doesn't just call plays, he sets the tone, he's the emotional thermostat for the whole squad. If the players don't believe in the guy under center, nothing else matters. Not the playbook, not the stats, not the draft rank. You can see it on the field, heads down, shoulders slumped, guys running routes like they're just trying to close their fitness rings. That's not football. That's a team going through the motions. That's exactly what RG3's been shouting about from the start. He's not just hyping Shedeur for clicks, he's seeing what everyone else with working eyes sees. This team isn't losing because they're untalented. It's because they're soulless, they're flat, uninspired, and completely disconnected. And Shadur Sanders, even with his rough edges, his rookie moments, his attitude, he brings something Cleveland hasn't felt in years. Belief. The kind of belief that makes veterans play harder, fans scream louder, and opponents actually take notice. That's why RG3 keeps pushing, because he knows the truth. The Browns don't need another quarterback rotation. They need a resurrection. And Shedeur might just be the one to bring it. But instead of leaning into what's obvious, Cleveland's out here playing politics, like this is a school talent show instead of professional football. Everywhere else in the league, the rule is simple. The best player plays. That's it. But in Cleveland, nah. In Cleveland, you gotta tiptoe around feelings and protect the fragile emotional state of your backup quarterback while the whole team falls apart on the field. It's beyond embarrassing. It's peak Browns. And then in the corner, you've got Joe Flacco, probably sipping coffee in the QB room like a retired professor giving a lecture titled What Football Used to Be in 2012.
It actually starts today, because now the actual evaluation of what we're doing actually starts. There's no more, oh, we're playing with house money, or no, we get to see this is the guy you chose. This is the guy you said that you had trust in. You took him in the 3rd round. Let's see how you coach it up. Let's see how he looks. So now all of that is off the table, and we'll get to this too. Like, guys that are the little pressed, don't be alarmed. You know, I've already seen stuff in the news. Hey, well, why is Shedeur still the 3rd string backup behind Joe Flacco?
The man's not the future, and he's definitely not the spark. He's there as a walking throwback, a relic you keep around in case someone wants to hear old war stories about back when the Ravens were good. Keeping him ahead of Shedeur on the depth chart isn't just outdated, it's a full-blown joke. That's like insisting your dusty fax machine still has purpose in 2025, because you never know. And let's not pretend we don't know how this story goes, because we've seen it 100 times before. The Browns will march Dillon Gabriel out there, the media will sell it as a fresh start, and for a week or two, he'll look decent. Then the cracks will start showing, the offense sputters, receivers get frustrated, the fans start booing, and by mid-season, desperation kicks in. That's when Cleveland finally does what they should have done from day one, unleash Shedeur Sanders. And the second he steps on that field, everything changes. The tempo, the energy, the crowd, it all flips like someone hit the reset button. Suddenly everyone will act like this was the plan all along, like they always believed in Shedeur from the start. Yeah, right. And here's the part no one's ready for. When Shedeur gets that shot, he's not giving it back. This won't be another rotating quarterback storyline. Once he's in, that's it. He's the guy. Gabriel can get comfy polishing that clipboard, and Joe Flacco, he can start Googling retirement homes in Florida, because the Sanders era is coming, and Cleveland won't be able to stop it even if they tried. Because Shadur Sanders isn't just another name on that cursed Browns jersey, he's the one who can finally rip it off and set it on fire. He's not another short-lived experiment or a placeholder quarterback. He's the one who can finally flip the script for this franchise once and for all. The only question now is, how long is Cleveland going to drag this out before admitting what everyone else already sees? Are they really going to waste 2 games, half a season, maybe even more, just to protect their pride? Because let's be real, the ending's already written in bold letters. Shadur Sanders will be the starting quarterback of the Cleveland Browns. It's not if, it's when. And every week they stall, every loss they take, every moment they hesitate just makes them look more out of touch with reality. So Browns fans, buckle up, because the Sanders era is coming whether the front office likes it or not. And when it hits, it's gonna hit hard. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to hit that like, subscribe, and share button. It helps the channel more than you know. And as always, I'll see you on the next one.